What's up, everybody? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Thursday, November 14th, 2019. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside GameXplain's Ash Paulsen. Yay!
How's it going?
It's great.
So much for having me.
Dude, thank
always
you for
wanted
coming.
to be on Kinda Funny.
Well,
This
that's the
is
thing.
awesome.
I was telling you in the other room, right? Like, you're on this list, I think, of people that when we
Yeah.
run into each other at conventions, like, oh, man, good to see you. We need to do something one day. All right, see you. And then it's a
Right.
year later, same convention, same conversation.
No, I was like, no, I made a note on my phone that night when we talked. I'm like, email Greg a couple weeks after we get back, and let's do it.
Time to make it happen.
Yeah.
Ash, GameXplain needs no introduction, but if
Right.
it did, what is the introduction? How do you explain GameXplain?
I think that we have the YouTube market cornered on Nintendo content for sure. I think
agree
we
with that.
are the #1 go-to source for Nintendo content. We have been branching out recently. We are technically platform agnostic.
Yeah.
So we do cover PS4, Xbox One, but obviously Nintendo's our main thing.
But you
and-
cover them the kind of way I cover PC gaming, right? Where it's like, that sucks. but yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. I think the thing that helped is we really started covering Nintendo. Like, we started back when the Wii U was the thing, right?
Yeah.
So nobody else was covering Nintendo. Nobody wanted to. So
Yeah.
we did, and we stuck with it, and now we're, benefiting from the Switch.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
totally. You
great.
built that audience, right? It reminds. I've talked to Andre. I think on shows about it, but maybe just privately. But I remember when he said when he was leaving GameSpot, when he was like leaving traditional games journalism stuff, and he was gonna start this YouTube channel. I was like, what a dumb idea,
Right?
You
I
know what
think everyone told him that. He always says, like, oh, man, don't do this. You're going to, and he'll tell it. I mean, he'll say that he was having a hard time getting it started. And,
Yeah.
I mean, more power to him. He made something huge out
Yeah.
of it. And, I think he was, like most of us who try to go and do an independent venture, he was scared at first.
Sure.
And it was tough, but he made it happen. And,
He did.
Yeah, more power to him.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
now here you are, more than 1 million subs strong, right?
Yeah.
How did you do that, Barrett? Take notes.
Man, I joined when we were about 400K.
So you're the reason. We got to
Obviously.
hire you here.
Clearly.
We get this 600K bump.
There you go. That's instantly immediate. Yeah. No, I think it's just that we have a big focus on community. Like,
Yeah.
I like to compare us to Easy Allies in terms of
Yeah.
our general tenor. We really try to interact with our fans as much as possible. Really have that back and forth dialogue, and I think that really brings people to us. And also, again, just being such a huge Nintendo presence
Having
on
focus,
YouTube
yeah.
really helps. You
Yeah.
know, especially usually when big video like our Pokemon Sword and Shield review was trending the other day. It was like number 2 or number 3 trending on YouTube.
Nice.
So I think that helps. There's
Did you guys
just the
like it?
visibility. Yeah. Well, Derek reviewed it,
Yeah.
and he liked it. I think he thought that it starts off really strong, then kind of loses steam toward the end a little bit or halfway
Sure.
through. But he still gave it a like.
Okay.
I personally have not played it other than E3 and trade shows. So. I'm still working on Dragon Quest XI-S. It's got me completely within its thrall. I can't even think about Pokemon until I finish that game.
I appreciate
So,
that. I appreciate
it's
that.
really good.
Here, I'm gonna do one thing.
Yeah. Oh,
Hang
cool.
on, because we do the thing where you start here and it's
Yeah.
easy, and you start here, you turn it. I do it
Of
all the
course.
time. Don't worry about it. The one thing before we get into the show, obviously, there's a million things. You have a very special honor, I believe.
Oh.
You coming on Kinda Funny, I believe, and Barrett, I'll need you to check the records as the official archivist of Kinda Funny, that you are now the first ever father-son duo who has been on Kinda Funny. Of course, your father,
Right.
Rob, a
Yeah.
friend of mine.
Well,
since
the first ever.
Yeah, well, I don't think we've done it right. I've had two different fathers. Have we ever had another father-son duo host shows in between things? Right? No way, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's right. And my dad just adores you guys. Absolutely
dude,
adores
you're
you.
your dad and I fell in love with each other
Yeah.
Up at Noon. When he came through to do Up at Noon, and I'll never forget that, him walking him around, he's like, you guys are treating me like a celebrity. And me and Brian were like, you are.
Well, he is a celebrity, yeah.
You're Rob Paulsen. Yes,
yeah, no,
we're doing
he's
that.
and he's so humble. I mean, that's
of course.
the most important thing I've learned from him is just humility.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how many followers you have. We all just play games. We're all just people. They're just, you got to stay humble.
Well, yeah, your dad was on the Game Over Greggy show, my apologies, back February 9th, 2015, our first month of being independent. He was there. So.
I thought it was at least a little more recent than that.
Yeah, I think he might have come through for something else, but that was his
Okay.
first appearance on Kinda Funny.
Time just goes.
Doesn't it?
flies.
Dude, you're
it
telling
is-
me.
It's crazy. It is.
You know what else flies? The news, ladies and
Right.
gentlemen. Today we're talking about Stadia having even more missing features, XO19 possible spoilers, and John Carmack stepping down at Oculus, because this is Kinda Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday on a variety of platforms, we run you through the nerdy video game news you need to know about. If you like that, be part of the show, patreon.com/kindafunnygames. You can give us your questions, comments, concerns, everything under the video game sun. Then tune in to watch us record the show live on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. If you're watching live, you have a special job. Go to kindafunny.com/you're wrong. Tell us what we screw up up as we screw it up so we can set the record straight for everybody listening later on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, roosterteeth.com, and podcast services around the globe. Housekeeping for you. Remember, we have new Kind of Funny merch up. That brand new crew neck sweatshirt's there. This brand new coffee mug's up there. kindoffunny.com/store. That Cheetos Fingers Tim shirt is up too. I don't remember ever promoting that on this show. Remember, it's Thursday right now, so if you're listening to this later and you're like, hey, wait, I didn't see this on Twitch at the normal time, we're doing it early so we can then do the screencast early at 10 a.m. So then at noon we can do the Inside Xbox watch along. You can catch that obviously on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. Watch along with us. Or if you want to see our reactions after the fact, youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. Then, if that wasn't enough content, in the afternoon we're going silent, no live broadcast of this, and recording the Kind of Funny Gamescast, which is our Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order review. It's going to be another big review roundtable like Death Stranding, and like Death Stranding, it will publish alongside the embargo for Star Wars Jedi, which is Thursday, 9 p.m. Pacific time. That's right, tonight, 9 p.m. Midnight if you're one of the East Coast, West Coasts. How would I insult them? Yeah, West Coast, Best Coast. Yeah. They always say East Coast, Beast Coast.
Oh, I say Least Coast.
Least Coast. God, that's why he's got 1 million subs.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow, that was good. That's good.
Yeah.
Thank you to our Patreon producers, Blackjack, Zach Parsley, and Mohammed. Today we're brought to you by Brooklinen and Manscaped and Escape the Invasion, but I'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin the show with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. Time for some news. 5 items on the report.
A baker's dozen.
Kept you waiting on that one, didn't I,
Yeah,
Bear?
you did.
You like that?
You
Sometimes
did.
I want to wet the whistle. I drank too much coffee. I know how this is going to go if I go that way. Number 1. Here's what else Stadia won't have at launch. This is Matt Kim at IGN.
This is crazy.
It gets worse every day. Yesterday, Gary and I were talking about like, oh man, this is going to be a rough one because X, Y, and Z. And while we were doing that, they were doing an AMA. Google Stadia is a week away from launch, and today Google held an impromptu Reddit AMA to answer some last-minute questions. Unfortunately, Google also took this time to reveal which features won't be available on Stadia at launch. Google Stadia Director of Product, Audrey Durachevek, and publisher experience lead Barry Lee hosted the Reddit AMA on the official r/Stadia subreddit, where they answered questions from awaiting Stadia users. The biggest revelation is how Stadia seems to be taking a gradual approach to feature rollouts in Stadia. Quote, our approach to releasing features on Stadia is similar to how we run Google Search, YouTube, and other Google services. Gradual rollout and continuous improvement based on your feedback. As a result, there will be some features Google advertised early on that won't be available on Stadia at launch. These features include Stream Connect. Google's version of local co-op will be available by the end of the year, they say. State Share. The feature to share save... Oh, it says State Share, but then the feature to share saved states won't be available until next year. Crowd Play. Same for Crowd Play, a feature that lets streamers play Stadia games with viewers. Achievements. While Google Stadia will record achievement players earn at launch, there will not be a UI notification for achievements until, quote, shortly after launch. Buddy Pass. The Buddy Pass is a special perk for Founders editions of Stadia, where founders can gift a 3-month Stadia subscription to a friend. The Buddy Pass will ship, quote, 2 weeks after you receive your bundle, end quote. Chromecast Ultra support. Kind of. Stadia will be able to stream to Chromecast Ultras, but at launch, only the Chromecast Ultras that ship with the Stadia controllers will be compatible. Quote, we will be updating the existing CC Ultras over the air soon after launch, they say.
This is a mess.
While Google never promised these features at launch, it appears that Day 1 Stadia will be just the first step in an evolving platform. And Google would like to remind users that even if they don't get their Stadia controllers on Day 1, Stadia makes it so they can stream games to their Chrome browsers or Pixel phones Day 1 with a Stadia account. Sweet fucking Christ.
Yeah, I mean, this is a mess. I mean...
It's like, after even talking about it yesterday,
yeah.
What I've said for weeks now is like, why didn't they call this early access? You could have gotten away with anything. It's early access. You're still buying a Founders Pack. You're getting in, yada, yada, yada. Not only... You can look at what they've done so far. Okay, well, the controller's only wireless, right, with the Chromecast.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. You got to work on that stuff. It's only going to be on Android devices at launch. Okay, that makes sense or whatever to these effects. The launch lineup's weak. That's when you start like, hold on a second. Why are you doing it like this? All these could be forgiven in a way if it was early access. This is a beta. You're paying to get in. You're getting your name and getting stuff.
Yeah.
IGN and GameSpot and everybody else who does real reviews of this thing, they're going to tear this thing fucking apart.
Why shouldn't they? I mean, they should not be going straight to full release if all this stuff isn't ready. You know? wait till let it cook in the oven until it's done. Just release the finished product, or at least not this unfinished. I get, like, as you said, I get some features not being ready at launch. I mean, we've seen this with other platforms, like mainstream platforms like the 3DS. The eShop wasn't ready at launch, right?
Yeah.
So we've seen stuff like that. But this is, I want to say a bit much. It's a lot much.
It is a lot much, and I think the bigger problem is the fact that, guess what? We're doing this to you a week before launch.
Right.
When the thing that's caught Stadia, the thing that's caught me off guard about Stadia from the beginning is how they've been packaging it. Of like, no, we're so ahead of the game. We are putting out our platform. We are doing our thing. This is all these different things you can do. And it's like, wow, if they really can beat Microsoft to the punch with xCloud, if they can really beat whatever PlayStation's going to do with streaming, that's awesome. That's huge. But now we're here, right? And it's like, it is night and day to look at what Stadia is about to do and what xCloud is about to do. Because xCloud is doing it right. We're doing a small beta. This is what today, we're recording before, obviously, XO19 happens. We know that they're going to talk about xCloud there in a big way, they say.
Right.
I don't know what that means, if it means it's going to full release, if the beta is going to be more available to people. But they are building a service that every time something is wrong, every time I hear somebody be like, oh, well, I had a bad connection to this, that, the other, you're like, doesn't matter. It's a beta. That's why you do them.
Right.
Meanwhile, Google's taking your money and now pulling back features and not being crystal clear on what they were doing.
Right. And I mean, all eyes are on them too, because both PlayStation and Xbox, they had, fantastic legendary entries into the gaming space.
Yeah.
This feels like Google is wading into a territory they don't really understand. And I mean, it's certainly doable. Again, the PS1, legendary. The original Xbox, super successful.
Yeah.
But this does not feel like, even back when it was announced, I will admit I'm not the core audience for Stadia.
Sure.
But even when it was announced, I'm like, I don't know about this. Because even beyond all these issues, right? This is only really going to be appealing to people who live in good, like, people who have great internet, right? Like really good streaming. That's not a lot of, most of the country doesn't necessarily have that. So not only are they launching with these features that aren't ready, their potential market already is pretty small, at least in my estimation.
Sure.
So,
yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is, regardless of the charts they put up of how much megabits per second you need to get the best connection, like, it's all going to be about word of mouth. And the word of mouth next week is clearly going to be, this thing is half-baked. This is not worth your money. This is a problem. And once that gets plastered on your product, your service, that's indelible. That's going to be so hard. You're talking about... maybe this time next year, we're finally getting articles and stuff that are like, oh, Google Stadia is finally working or worth it or whatever. It's like, look at it doesn't matter how good Fallout 76 ended up being in the end, right? Like,
exactly.
Exactly.
I mean,
that is Fallout 76 was a flop. Bam, done.
Right.
It's a huge joke. It's a punchline.
I mean, we're seeing this unfold before our eyes with Pokemon Sword and Shield, with the whole Dexit thing,
right.
and especially in the age of social media. Word of mouth will save you or it'll ruin you.
Yeah.
And people are obviously furious about the whole national dex being removed. And that's, I mean, I'm sure Pokemon Sword is Pokemon. It's going to do super well anyway.
Yeah.
But that's, there's a lot of bad juju out there about this game. And Nintendo's probably in damage control mode right now. And so it's so true. Word of mouth can either float you or sink you.
And what's going to be interesting about this is, like, even though you have to imagine Xbox is looking at this like, oh, man, thank God we didn't do that. There has to be a conversation about on that side of worrying about them poisoning the well. By Google getting out into video games, into something they're not used to doing in terms of this way. Like, Google doesn't sell products, right? Really? Like, that's not how it works. They're getting out there, and if they really, really, really fuck up streaming for people, it's already something that people don't believe in. They don't think it'll work for them. There's all these latency issues and yada, yada, yada.
That's a good point.
If they screw it all up, you have to wonder, like, oh, man, xCloud's going to have to even work harder now to prove that, no, this is a future and this is a thing that can happen.
Right. I mean, I'm not necessarily all in on the, streaming-only future. I do think it's a huge pillar of gaming's future. But for Stadia to go all in on it, I just don't know if the market's ready for that. It's like going all in on VR. It's a great pillar, but it's not ready to be the main focus.
It can't hold up your entire business.
Exactly. Yeah.
We're going to see. It'll be very interesting. A couple questions about it, though. BJ Bernardo writes into patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. This is, hi, y'all. Do you think the lack of games and lack of announced features being ready at launch caused some people to drop their pre-orders? Or are most people who pre-ordered Stadia expecting such things as being early adopters of new tech? Which missing feature are you surprised is not ready at launch? Down the list, I do think it caused people to cancel their pre-orders.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Gary Whitta was debating it live on the show yesterday, right? I think a lot of people, myself included, haven't canceled their pre-orders, right? Like, it's like, I am excited for streaming tech. I think for what I do.
Sure.
I've said before, I don't think I'm actually going to start really using it until like 2020 when games are day and date with it, or the games I care about, hopefully, knock on wood, are getting patches and I'm able to do everything like I can do with Destiny and carry my characters around.
Right, exactly.
That's a different thing. But I do want to support it. I do want it to get there. I do think, but it's to pull the rug out from underneath people this close to launch. And I guess not even that, because as Matt Kim says, right, while Google never promised these features at launch, they did tout them in all the things. And I've been saying on our shows, right, of like, there's a reason that when they showed the thing and they're like, oh, this is how easy it is to connect with YouTube, they haven't talked about that since, because that wasn't going to be here. I get that that's not going to be here.
Yeah.
But like, for me, looking through this, like, what's also interesting, it's not in Matt's article when I read on the Reddit, cross play isn't in there. So like there is a family plan that like if I can buy it and then share it on all my things, that won't be ready at launch. So at launch it would be that I'd have to buy everybody the $60 game or whatever I want.
The thing that gets me is achievements. Like what the hell? Like I mean, I'm not a big achievement whore anyway. Like I don't just go after achievements necessarily. But that feels like, unless you're a Nintendo system, that feels like it's just standard these days. Like, you know, that PlayStation and Xbox have made that standard. I don't see how you can reasonably launch, you know, a new console without achievements and not be a little embarrassed about it. I mean, it just seems like, I know, right? Well, to be fair, though, they've never tried. That's not their thing, right?
I know.
But they're trying to do achievements. And how is that not ready at launch? That's such a basic feature.
For me, it's the Chromecast Ultra support, where it's like, okay, cool. Yeah, if you bought it and you the Founders Pack comes with the Chromecast Ultra, so you can stream to TV, and that's how you play wirelessly. Great.
Sure.
But if you already own a Chromecast Ultra, that one won't, like, what? Isn't that just a push of the firmware? How is that not
That is just absolutely, like, that reminds me of the whole PSP Vita thing where you were forced to buy Sony's proprietary super overpriced cards. Because
the cards, the memory cards,
so you couldn't just use existing micro SD. They wanted you to spend that money.
Of course.
Google wants you to buy that new Chromecast.
Yeah,
and that's just so gross.
Yeah.
It's just gross. It's bait and switch marketing. It's just, I don't like it.
And that's the thing, this close to the finish line to be like, oh, here's all these little things we didn't tell you about. Well, the controller was bad enough when it was like, it's only going to be wireless with this thing. It's
that's
like,
just,
wait, isn't the whole point of buying this damn controller is supposed to be the best experience?
And it's just one thing after another.
Everyone in You're Wrong is popping up, including Brian, to say Google sells hella products, Greg, ranging from phones to speakers, etc. Nano Biologist, to clarify, Google does sell devices with phones, smart home devices, and even cardboard VR headsets. Yeah, great points. I'm wrong. You're right. That's 100% correct. I'm wrong.
Question for you, Greg. If Xbox comes out and they're all about their xCloud stuff today, and they present a lot of cool things, and whenever that system launches, do you think if it is good enough, do you ever see yourself jumping ship from Stadia over to just do xCloud?
I'm not. Thank you, Barrett. Lovely question. I love your work on kindoffunny.com. As I've said before in passing on the millions of shows we do, I'm not pro Stadia because I'm pro Stadia. I'm pro streaming. For me, it is an arms race. Who gets there first and who has the best ones? I've talked about it in the same breath that, like, if xCloud launches and is great and does everything, that's where I'd go. For me, it's the same thing. People have written in about this on different shows and been like, or maybe just Twitter, and been like, but Greg, like, you always talk about jumping to Stadia. Why wouldn't you jump to xCloud? I'm like, I would totally jump to xCloud. Like, if xCloud is fucking working in Cyberpunk 2099, what? God damn it, Spider-Man. You ruined me. Cyberpunk 2077 launches on Xbox, and it's like, you can go to xCloud and everything. Fuck yeah, I'm playing it there. Fuck yeah, I'm doing that. You know what I mean? Like, that is where it's at for me. It's about being able to transfer that. If they figure out, I mean, like, it's the long short game of it. Like, fuck, man. Should I have played Borderlands on that? If Borderlands would then be able to be on the xCloud and do all these different things, like, I don't know. But.
Yeah, I mean, that's a perfect point. You go where the games go. Go where the best versions of the games go. Especially if you're fortunate enough to be able to do that and afford all the different platforms. And why, you got to go where the quality is, right?
Yep, 100%.
Straight up.
One more question about all this. The Nano Biologist writes in and says, "Hey, Greg and Ash. There's been so much talk about how Stadia will flop at launch with its very minimal library, lack of advertised features, needing to rebuy games, and general uncertainty if Google will keep the lights on. But how could it turn it around and succeed? Should its games use a Games Pass service? What about it just melding libraries with cross-progression, cross-play together, and you getting a monthly fee to use it? Are there other ways you theorize Google can turn it around before they reach out and pull the plug? Do you think Stadia can recover from the bad launch it's about to have and bounce back?
I think because of what I said earlier about the potential market already being a little iffy anyway because of internet access in America, at least high-speed internet access in America, I don't know if they're going to turn this around. I mean, we've seen it happen before, like with the PS3. Sony was able to turn that disaster around. But again, that's the PlayStation brand. Yeah. People are already in it. So I don't know if they can turn this around.
Yeah, you figure looking at all this now and like, oh, I can't wait to read all the Schreier articles about this from what really happened behind the scenes when it's all said and done.
Yeah.
You have to imagine the immediacy and moving quicker than they should be and coming out earlier than they should be and messaging in a different way has to be related to xCloud, right? Because you figure, you talk about it, go where the games go and where you're in an ecosystem. Right. And even though I'm primarily PlayStation, I play my Xbox, I have an Xbox. Sure. So I do have an account, I do have achievements tied to it, I do have all that stuff. Where, like we're talking right now, that if, Stadia Cyberpunk can't launch day and date with the rest of them, and I have the chance to play it on the cloud and have it with me wherever I go in a hotel room, of course I'm going to play it over there on Xbox. Right. Because I already have a system there and I already have a life there. Like, I just feel like Stadia tried to get out and look like they were the real deal before they were the real deal, and that's going to be such a killer blow to them now.
But you can play Shadow of the Tomb Raider on Stadia at launch, man.
And what was it? Somebody's like, there's 12 games launching, 3 of which are Tomb Raider.
Exactly, right? So, I mean, and unless you need to get caught up on the reboot Tomb Raider trilogy, man, that launch lineup's looking pretty anemic.
It's bad. It's real bad. And that's the thing is they're trying to launch a service, so it's this weird.
Yeah.
And then it's like on top of it, like, your launch lineup sucks, right? There's not that many exclusives. Why aren't there hundreds of games on it? Because it's just PC games, right? Like,
right. But it's not impossible for them to turn around. It's not impossible.
Yeah, the way to turn it around, right, is that in 20, like, I would have messaged this is all different, and it's going to be really hard to get out of the hole you've dug for yourself now.
Yeah.
But in 2020, when things do start dropping day and date, and you can get the game anywhere, and they are, the same experiences and that, and the other, when you are playing it, and they've ironed out any kinks, if they do have kinks, for actually having the tech work. Because that's the weirdest thing about all this. We're complaining so much about features and launch lineup and all stuff, as we should, right? And connectivity issues. Does the tech work? Like, that was our big question, right? Like, I've played it at E3 when I was Ethernet. I thought it played great, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. Mm-hmm. Is it going to work in a hotel? If I take it to London, is that going to work for me? Is it going to? How is it going to be in the studio with the good Wi-Fi in the front and the bad Wi-Fi in the back, and in my house and this thing? Like
in real life situations,
right? Those are the real questions. And so then you get into this thing of like reviews that'll pop next week of it, and people talking about it. It's going to be like, yeah, sure, the games that are on there run well, but I don't want to play those games. Or yeah, they run fine, but it doesn't. You have this ecosystem yet for me to exist in.
Right, and then Leo, what if you do get a Stadia, you get home and surprise, even though your numbers say you should be able to stream well, you can't, and then you're stuck with this streaming only experience is compromised because your internet's not good enough. I mean, that's a money sink right there. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, we'll see.
Let's move on. Number 2 is going to be XO19 Spoilers? Night, more stuff started popping, teasing what might be happening at XO19. Of course, we're live reacting to it today. So if you're listening to this after the fact, it might be a moot point. If you're listening to it before the fact, maybe it's news to you. But we won't spend that much time on it for you. So I got a couple bullet points. They're not major, but if you don't want to know anything, I'll tap my head for you being a video listener when I'm done. Barrett, remind me to tap my head. So we're starting spoilers that are possible now. Number 1, a Twitch ad leaked overnight that shows The Witcher 3 is coming to Game Pass. So get hype if that's your jam. And then Daniel Ahmad, of course, industry analyst on Twitter, had a series of posts that read like this. XO19 is worth watching tomorrow if you're a fan of Xbox Game Studios. The event will have solid 2020 release dates for Xbox Game Studio games like Bleeding Edge, Minecraft Dungeons, and Wasteland 3. New IP from Obsidian and Rare, a shadow drop, plus much more. Microsoft has been investing heavily in its studios, games, and services. Even with next gen around the corner, Xbox Game Studios have approximately half a dozen titles scheduled to ship in 2020 prior to the Scarlet launch. Game Pass will be a big focus as always, both for Xbox Game Studio and third party. And then he comes back. Need to clarify one thing is I wasn't aware that the Shadow game drop was already dated for November 14th, the game being Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition. So, that's that. Do you have any thoughts on it?
The Shadow Drop is not Master Chief in Smash. I'm disappointed.
I know, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
The XO conference in general is so weird. This year in general weird as well. Of like, what are they gonna do? Is it gonna be a big deal? We debated if we should live react to it for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, it's Microsoft. Other than E3, Xbox isn't really known for having that live kind of presentation. Even PlayStation has kind of struggled to get it right with State of Play.
Yeah,
like they've really tried to emulate that Nintendo Direct style, and for all that Nintendo does wrong, they really nail the Directs. That whole outreach to their audience. And I think PlayStation and Xbox are still trying to get it right. But it'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing what this experience is like because I haven't watched a live Xbox conference yet. Like, I'm mostly a Nintendo and PlayStation guy.
Yeah.
So I have an Xbox One, but I typically gravitate toward those two. So I'm looking forward to seeing what's up, and I really did enjoy Microsoft's conference at E3.
Yeah.
So, I keep crossing my fingers every year that they're going to announce Banjo 3. They're never going to. Rare as we knew it is gone.
Yeah.
They're now known as Platonic.
Yeah.
But there's certainly stuff. I mean, Cyberpunk. I mean,
Yeah.
I hopefully we see more of that, possibly.
Yeah.
More Keanu Reeves.
Yeah,
I'm down
of
with
course.
that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if it seems like it's going to be such a PSX thing of such a specific, here's for the hardcore Xbox fan, which
Sure.
is good.
Yeah.
For me, it's xCloud. I want to know what they're doing. I really hope it's going to be, I want it to be, hey, we're flipping the Switch today.
Right.
Everybody jump on and is ready to go.
I think one thing they need, if they're ready for it, they need to kind of re-reveal Halo Infinite. I don't think that the E3 trailer quite took off the way they hoped it would. I mean,
Yeah.
I know Halo's kind of been on the decline since 4 anyway, but I just feel like that cinematic trailer with no gameplay, after how long it's been since Halo 5, and it's still so far off, it felt like it kind of, not flopped, of course, it's Halo, but it just felt like it landed a bit with a thud.
I don't think you're going to get it. Because I forget if they confirmed no Halo Infinite, but I know they said nothing about about Scarlet. They were very clear about Xbox.
Which makes sense. Yeah.
And I agree with you on that front. I think they'll wait until they're closer to Scarlet to do something like that.
Before I go any further, I got a You're Wrong I want to toss in. I guess I shouldn't because I'm in spoilers. Hold on, I'm coming out of spoilers. We're out of spoilers, everybody, if you're watching. Lord of Pwn corrects me on the Stadia stuff. Lord of Pwn says, Stadia runs on a Linux platform instead of a Windows platform. It's not an easy thing to just change PC games to be compatible. Fair enough.
Fair enough.
I don't
We
mean to
didn't
make
know
it
that.
sound like there's a port button. But
Of
I
course,
do think
never.
you've had enough time with older games to be like, let's do it. And you're Google. You have the money. But I digress. Good point. I was wrong. Number 3 on the Roper Report, John Carmack is stepping down as Oculus CTO. This is Janko Reuters at Variety. One of the driving forces behind Facebook's virtual reality efforts is leaving his post. Oculus CTO John Carmack announced Wednesday afternoon that he was transitioning to a consulting CTO role this week and devote most of his time to new challenges outside of the company. Quote, I will still have a voice in the development work, but it will only be consuming a modest slice of my time, Carmack wrote in a Facebook post. I'm going to work on artificial general intelligence, he added about his future plans, while making clear that this work won't be part of Facebook. For the time being, at least, I'm going to be going about it Victoria Gentleman style, pursuing my inquiries from home and drafting my son into the work, Carmack wrote. Facebook's VR unit acknowledged the move in a tweet, saying that the company was glad Carmack was still on board. A Facebook spokesperson also told Variety that Carmack would remain a Facebook employee. Quote, the nature of his work at Facebook will remain the same, and he will pursue a number of projects. He will continue to advise us on strategy and technical feasibility through building proofs of concept, and as always, advocating for our users. For example, he will continue working on projects that maximize visual quality within a limited mobile compute budget. End quote. Carmack had joined Oculus in 2013 as its CTO and stayed on after Facebook acquired the VR startup for $2 billion the following year. He's had an outsized influence on the VR space, driving both practical implementations for devices like Samsung's Gear VR and the Oculus Quest, as well as next-generation advancements. His annual Oculus Connect keynote talks about advancements in VR have long been a key barometer for technical achievements and future challenges for the industry. Carmack's announcement comes 3 months after Oculus co-founder Nate Mitchell revealed that he was leaving Facebook, and it marks just the latest high-profile executive change for the company's VR unit. Palmer Luckey, who developed the first Oculus Rift prototype, was forced out in early 2017 following the revelation of his financial support of a far-right group. Longtime Oculus CEO Brendan Iribe left the company in October of 2018. Well, there, go get him, John Carmack. Well, one of the other articles I saw was talking about, like, he's made comments recently that were kind of like, I wish this VR was more successful or was moving faster than it was.
Right.
And I think that's a pretty common cry for that sector of VR.
Right.
If that makes sense.
No, it does. Well, I mean, I think the problem is I think VR proponents have tried to push the idea that it's completely consumer market ready before it actually is. You know, up to now, and maybe not even now, it's expensive for the general consumer to get into, other than PlayStation VR and, you know, Labo VR. How much do you even want to count that?
Yeah.
But even with PlayStation VR, like, I wanted to get one. Like, I do love VR when I play it.
Yeah.
And I played Res Infinite in VR. Oh, man.
Yep.
So I wanted PSVR, but it has like 15 wires to your setup. I live in a one-bedroom apartment. I don't have room for all that.
Yeah.
So for me, it's just, and I think a lot of people, it's not quite at that level of convenience, price, and viability.
Well, that's why Quest has been blowing the doors off it, right? Where
Right.
It is like, cool, headset, 2 controllers, you're done.
Right.
Wireless.
And I've heard that, I guess I don't follow VR too closely, but I've heard that either the next Oculus or the next Vive is going to be wireless, like a consumer wireless VR headset.
I mean, that's the future. That's,
right.
Because that's the biggest thing.
And like, if there's a wireless PSVR with the PS5, I'm in.
Yeah.
Like 100% I'm in. Like that's, you don't have to convince me, especially if they port res to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's been a more glacial progress, and that's why I
Yeah.
go back all the time to the conversation at GDC we had with Lauren Lanning on one of our shows, where when we asked him, like, oh, all these VR things are popping up, and this is before anywhere on market, who's going to win? And he's
Right.
like, PlayStation VR. And we're all like, that's like the weakest one. And then
Exactly.
It's like, people already have the system. PlayStation knows what they're doing. They're not going to run from it. And that's that thing. Whereas Facebook buying Oculus for $2 billion.
Yeah.
I think there was that time where everybody thought this was the gold rush. It was going to be this thing. It was consumer
Right.
ready.
And
In
I-
reality,
yeah.
it was enthusiast ready.
Right. And I think PlayStation did a good job of dipping people's toes in and kind of laying the groundwork for more successful PSVR iterations in the future, but I just don't think it's quite there yet. I mean,
Yeah.
and again, if you even count it, Labo VR came and went like that. I mean,
nobody cared.
Yeah, exactly. So
Are you doing Ring Fit Adventure?
I want to be.
That's another one where I look at it, I'm
Yeah.
like, that seems interesting. I'm like, where am I going to put the ring? I don't got stuff
Well,
to
I mean,
do.
it's just the ring. I mean, you can disconnect it after you
I
now.
got 2 halves
can't
of a
do it.
ring. I don't want to do that.
All right,
I
all
don't
right.
need rings around my house. You know what I mean? Number 4. Xbox Game Pass subscribers are buying more games. This is James Batchelor at GamesIndustry.biz. Subscribers to Xbox Game Pass are buying more titles and trying a wider variety of genres than they did before joining. That's the message from ID at Xbox lead Agostino Semeta, who shared data from the subscription service with attendees at yesterday's GamesIndustry.biz investment summit in London. The first learning he shared was that subscribers are playing 40% more games, including titles outside of the Game Pass catalog. People that join the subscription are way more engaged, he said. Well, they have a lot of free games to play, but actually they're way more engaged outside of the subscription. They go out to stores and buy more games than they did before they joined, end quote. He went on to reveal that the increase in players of games played has also shown Xbox users trying a wider variety of games. An impressive 91% of subscribers say they have played a title they would not have tried without Xbox Game Pass, while Microsoft has noticed members are playing 30% more genres than they did before joining. Finally, he asserted that, far from cannibalizing sales, Game Pass is actually driving players to pick up more titles, even outside of the Xbox ecosystem. The usage for all the titles included in the Xbox Game Pass has increased by an average of 6 times. Quote, we are seeing a massive spike in certain categories, but generally, when a title goes into Game Pass, we see an average of 6-time increase in usage for all games in the Xbox game catalog.
That I am so surprised that this is driving people to go spend more money on games outside of what they're already paying for with Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah.
I mean, Xbox Game Pass, and this is coming from someone who isn't a huge Xbox gamer, is an incredible value.
Yeah.
It's amazing, and I don't know. I mean, it's great that it's driving people to go support other games that aren't in it. I just don't know the thinking behind it. I'm not sure I quite get it.
This is the Games Industry Biz one. I think I read either IGN's or The Verge or somebody else who was talking about it, and maybe even this where I cut out a quote. But the conversation they were talking about is it's a lot like Netflix, not with the spending obviously, but Netflix of the big budget things bring you in, the big title brings you in, right? And then you go and start watching the documentaries, you go and start doing the stuff.
That makes sense.
I think
Yeah.
a better analogy from my own personal experience is now Apple Arcade. I bought Apple Arcade, right?
Right.
And so suddenly I'm playing games on my mobile phone, which I don't normally do.
Right.
Which meant that I'm talking about those games, and people are like, no, you should try this game too. It's not an Apple Arcade, but it's $3. I'm like, it's $3. Go do it.
There you go.
Once you're
Yeah.
in the front door and in the ecosystem, you have a reason to turn on your Xbox every month, we'll say, for new games, but probably to play things all the time. You're seeing those ads, you're seeing those announcements, you're seeing the reasons to go do it.
Right.
What I thought was interesting, and again, it might have been from this article and I cut it out, but they talked about After Party, right, from Night School. The After Party saw that after they got announced and put into Game Pass, that sales increased on the other platforms as well. Of like, it was like,
Right.
it's one of the, or maybe, I guess it was pre-orders because of when it was. But just in general, more people talking about your game makes people go out and buy the game.
Yeah, no, well, that totally makes sense. And
Yeah.
what I want to know, the biggest question for me is I want to meet all these people who have time to play all their Xbox Game Pass, like all these different games, have
Yeah.
time to then go out and buy more. give me your time. Like what? How?
Why? I see. I don't need the time. I don't need. I buy plenty of games.
Yeah.
I have no problem buying
the collective
the games.
you, I should say.
Piling the games up, playing the games. That's where
that's the
where it
thing.
gets
It's like
interesting.
where
How did
you know
find the time to play them. Yeah.
How do you get through them anyway?
Yeah,
so yeah.
Finally, on the Roper Report number 5, Gamescom opening night live is coming back. This is a Jeff Keighley tweet. The team and I had so much fun this summer in Europe at Gamescom, and today we're announcing a new multi-year partnership for opening night live. See you again in August 2020 from Cologne, Germany. So that's exciting, of course.
Yeah.
I always like the Jeff Keighley produced shows out of these things.
Yeah.
Speaking of breaking news, as we went live, Jeff had another tweet. This year, the Game Awards is coming to the big screen. Watch the Game Awards live on 12/12 in 53 Cinemark theaters across the U.S. alongside the first screenings of Jumanji movie.
What in the world?
More details at cinemark.com/Game Awards, and he tags The Rock and Jack Black.
That is,
I'm going to be in the room with The Rock, everybody. The Rock is coming to the Game Awards. You heard it here first. I'm going to see The Rock. I'm going to touch The Rock.
I love it.
I'm going to get arrested by The Rock.
Man, good for Jeff. I mean,
Dude,
obviously
awesome
the Game
for Jeff.
Awards had a rocky start. First couple of years weren't so great, but that makes sense,
Well, now,
Gotta
are
get
you
it off the
including
ground.
Game Awards, or are you including the Spike TV video
I guess
Game
I am
Awards?
including both, but even the Game Awards, I feel like the first two. I guess I'm actually mainly am talking about the Game Awards, and it kind of it took a little while to find its legs, but and my wife and I watch it every year. The first couple of years, you're like, oh man, Jeff, this is
a bit cringe here and
there.
there.
A lot of cringe, and they had these bands that had nothing to do with video games. It's and then a few years later, we're like looking at each other like, hey, this is a good show.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot of
I
fun.
thought, for sure, the Spike Awards, it was always like, oof, why are we shoving Elijah Dushku, who seems like a nice person? Why is she out here? Does she play games? Does she? And then when it was, I remember that first one in Vegas where Imagine Dragons came out and played with the Nintendo composer.
Right.
I forget his name.
Koji Kondo or
I
was
forget. Barrett, do you remember?
who else would it be?
It must have been him, right?
I would think it would be
the famed
Koji Kondo.
Nintendo composer.
Because that was when Breath of the Wild had that big segment at the end, right? Where they just showed or was that not the same year?
No, that was this is 2014. This is the final. Their first Game Awards was the final PSX we went to as Podcast Beyond.
Okay.
And then 2015 was in LA, and that was the second Game Awards, I believe.
I would imagine it had to be Koji Kondo. Because, there are plenty of other
that sounds
great
right,
composer to Nintendo, but he's like the big name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was awesome, right?
Right.
Yeah. And it was 2014 Nano Biologist with
Right.
Koji Kondo. We were right. I got the Imagine Dragons part right in the year, so
nice.
Hey, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, everybody, right? Greg's memory, garbage, but getting there. No, I don't think Jeff Keighley gets enough credit for.
No.
He's one of the most genuine feedback people I've ever met, where literally when he puts out that tweet afterwards of like, Game Awards happened, what did you think, or who do you want to see, and all that jazz, like he legitimately reads through all that, and his team goes through and pours through that and tries to make it better and iterate every year.
100%, and you can see how passionate he is. You can see the emotion flow through when he hosts the Game Awards, and even when really crazy on the spot things happen, like Kojima not being allowed to attend because of Konami, he got choked up.
Yeah.
And I like to see that. Some people might be like, oh, that's embarrassing. No, I want to see that genuine emotion.
Yeah.
And I think that really comes through. You can feel his passion for games and for not just, playing them, but the craft of them and the art of them. Yeah. And I love that about him, and I agree. He deserves way more credit than he gets.
We love Jeff Keighley. That's what we're saying right here.
Yes, we do.
You know what I mean? I can't wait to see what Jeff has up his sleeve this year, Ash.
Me
but
too.
This year is still so far away. If I wanted something more immediate, say what came to the mom and grop shops, where would I go?
The official list of upcoming software across each and every platform as listed by the Kinda Funny Games Daily Show hosts each and every weekday.
Yeah. Out today. Fractured Minds, a first-person puzzle adventure game highlighting the impact of mental health issues, is out on PC, Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. The immersive and emotionally fueled project is published by Wired Productions and available for $1.99, with 80% of the proceeds going to Miss Mitchell and Safe in Our World, a new games industry charity dedicated to raising and supporting mental health awareness. If you didn't remember this from a few weeks ago when we announced the Safe in Our World thing on the Roper Report, Miss Mitchell is, I believe, this will probably get wrong, 14. She's a 14-year-old girl, maybe 12-year-old girl, who made this trying to figure out how to help people understand what depression is and mental illness to that effect.
Well, here's what's funny is it's more like Safe in Our Small World, because I got into the ground level with the patron, so I'm actually part of the Safe in Our World team.
Look at you.
That's making stuff happen and trying to bring mental health outreach and awareness to so many people. And so I've talked to Emily. We're actually in the same Skype chat together, just as we all work together as part of the Safe in Our World crew. She's the nicest person, so sweet, so genuine, and what she's doing is so important. I mean, you can see I'm wearing wearing a Celeste shirt.
Yep.
Mental health is a hugely important thing to me. It's too silent. It's not talked about enough. And I think games are in a unique position to really tackle them and help people that maybe films and they're not quite, that interactivity element,
Sure,
right?
yeah.
So, yeah, I am so happy that Safe in Our World and Fractured Minds is getting so much mind share, because this is it's a cause I'm very passionate about.
It's only $1.99, people.
And that too.
Easy charity donation. Get out there and do it.
Yeah.
Does it have an easy platinum trophy? I'm not sure yet, but that's not even what it's about. I assume it would, though, right, Barrett? I mean, $1.99, right? Come on now. Come on. Give me something, Barrett. Yeah, he pointed at me.
Nice.
Continue on the line. It's a Thursday, too, by the way, so strap in, everybody. Paranoia. Happiness is mandatory on PC. Some distant memory. Switch, PC, and Mac. Black Sad, Under the Skin. PC and Mac. Sparklight on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. You might remember Sparklight from one of the Kind of Funny Games showcases. They showed the game there. It looked great. Fractured Minds, as we already said, PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition on PC. Kingdom Under Fire 2 on PC. Gear.Club Unlimited 2 Porsche Edition on Switch. Bee Simulator on PC. Push the Crate on Switch. Galactic Defense Squadron on Switch. Sudoku Relax 3 Autumn Leaves on Switch. Balthazar's Dream on Switch. Labyrinth of the Witch on Switch. Scarlet Mysteries Cursed Child on Switch. The Perils of Baking on Switch. Overlanders on Switch. Rocket Wars on Switch. Squid G's Takeover on Switch. Truck Life on PC. Bee Simulator. Here comes a Bee Simulator trailer if you're watching on the videos. Barrett found it.
Extraordinary world of miniature creatures.
Become a bee.
That's terrifying.
A tiny
Oh, wow.
Oh,
All right,
hell
this is-
no.
inhabited
Wow, this is I am just a bee here. I'm a worker bee going on business here.
to ours.
Oh, hell no. I'll never play
See
this.
things from a different perspective. Whoa!
A world
First person bee. Oh, no, I
That's-
wasn't first person.
okay.
and secrets to discover.
Explore
as
the world.
well as everyday duties.
I want to sting somebody. Can I sting somebody? Become a part
You
of a
have to,
tiny
right?
family.
You
Yeah,
have to be able to.
that's a big part of it, right?
And enemies to defeat.
Uh-oh. That's,
Oh,
you don't want that.
hell no.
Tale will
Yellow
be
jackets.
complete
Bad dudes. The
without
queen.
A series of unfortunate events.
Complete quest and help your hive. All right, well, that's Bee Simulator, everybody. If you're...
I hope it becomes like a commentary about how like bees are coming extinct, and it becomes like a really deep like conversation about bees. That'd be fun.
All right, now here's the problem, everybody. It says Xbox One, Steam, and PlayStation 4, and Switch. As I read here, it is only getting announced today for coming to PC.
Well, maybe it's only PC today, and then it'll come to these other things later. Did you think
I-
about that, Greg?
No. This wasn't me saying, hey, something's wrong. This is me saying I'm going to stop the entire show to find the trophy list. If there's a trophy list yet for the Bee Simulator.
I am noping the fuck out of that.
You don't like bees?
I don't like insects, bees. I'm a huge arachnophobe. I can't even play games with like really realistic looking spiders, like the old Resident Evil games. Bloodborne, amazing game. Never
Yeah.
gonna play it because giant spider. I can't do it. I really now if they're like cartoony looking, like like Zelda, like Skulltulas, I could deal, but not those giant tarantula. I can't do it. And bees, I don't need to see them up that up close. I'm noping out of that.
I understand. I appreciate
Yeah.
your candor. I'm sorry you're terrified of bees like that. You're not allergic, right?
I'm not allergic. It's just I don't know. It's a thing. It's mainly spiders. Bees don't like freak me out as much as they used to.
Yeah.
But I don't need to see one up close necessarily
Yeah.
and play as one from the perspective of I don't need to.
Got it. Okay, I
Yeah.
understand that. Now, here's what I'll tell you, Barrett. It is also launching on PlayStation 4. There's a launch trailer out for PC. Maybe it came out earlier in the week. That's probably what happened, and I just missed it. I wasn't on Tuesday's show. Imran and Fran were, right? They
Yeah.
don't like the hard-hitting journalism I do of looking for the trophies, right? What
Right.
I'll tell you right now is looking at the trophies on exophase.com, 9.09% of people have the platinum.
Wow.
Which is pretty good looking
Yeah,
in terms of
that's
that.
good.
So, like, now you know what we're going to do. We're going to crack our knuckles, go to PlayStation, or hold on. Yeah, PlayStation.
I tried to crack my knuckles into the mic. It didn't really do anything though.
See if there's a trophy guide up or we're going to PlayStationTrophies.org as always now. Let's see the list here. Then click on the forums. Because the forums will tell you, Barrett. You know what I mean? They'll tell me how long it's going to take if they got anything. Here we go. All right, there isn't. We got estimated time. There's a thread for estimated time to platinum. No one has voted in the poll yet, though. So I don't know how long it is. Kindoffunny.com/you're wrong if you can tell me how long it'll take me. All right.
What
Somewhere-
was the first platinum you ever got? Just curious.
Uncharted. It was the first ever
Uncharted?
platinum.
Nice,
Oh,
nice.
Please. That's right out the gate.
Mine was Rocket League.
All right.
Nice.
People tell me all the time I should do Rocket League. Like, I like Rocket League, but I just haven't sat down to do that.
Right. I think mine was Final Fantasy 13 too, which is super
Oof.
random,
Ooh.
but I really like that game. So
All right, back to it. Sorry. Deadliest Catch the Game is on PC. Lootcraft PC and Mac. Dune C on Steam. New dates for you. Corporate America. The fast-paced multiplayer FPS in which you have to shoot emails against other office workers will be released on Steam November 22nd. And then Decay of Logos arrives November 28th on the Nintendo Switch. Now, it's time for reader mail. You can write into patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, where you can get the show ad-free. And speaking of ads, this episode of Kind of Funny Games Daily is brought to you by Brooklinen. Making your home beautiful is the ultimate form of self-care. You spend a third of your life in the sheets. Don't you want them to be insanely comfortable? This holiday season, maybe it's time to gift the ones you love or yourself with something a little cozier like bedding, loungewear, towels, and more. And lucky for you, Brooklinen is delivering comfort all season long. These are luxury sheets, robes, loungewear, towels, and more without the luxury markups. Brooklinen was the first DTC, that's direct-to-consumer bedding company, meaning they work directly with manufacturers and directly with customers. No middlemen, just a great service and product. They've moved beyond the bedroom to offer essentials for your bathroom like towels, shower curtains, and bath mats, and even launched ultra-soft loungewear that makes you feel like you never left the bed. You can get 10% off and free shipping anytime you shop at brooklinen.com. Use the promo code GAMES. Brooklinen is so confident in their products that all their sheets, comforters, and towels work with a lifetime warranty. Go brooklinen.com. Use the promo code GAMES. You get 10% off and free shipping. That's BROOKLINEN.com. Use the promo code GAMES. Brooklinen, everything you need for your most comfortable life. Up next, it's Manscaped. Support for Kind of Funny Games Daily comes from Manscaped, who's the best in men's below-the-belt grooming. Manscaped offers precision engineering tools for your family jewels. Jingle balls to the walls, fellas. Listen up. Untrimmed pubes are a thing of the past. It's time to gear up and get yourself the gift of shaving this holiday season. I'm talking about the Manscaped Perfect Package 2.0. This revolutionary company, Manscaped, has redesigned the electric trimmer. Their Lawnmower 2.0 has proprietary advanced skin-safe technology, so this trimmer won't nick or snag your nuts. It's also waterproof, so you can use it in the shower. The Lawnmower 2.0 comes inside the Perfect Package 2.0, which makes the perfect gift this holiday season. It's literally everything you need to keep trimmed, cut-free, and smelling nice down there. And don't use the same trimmer you use on your face. That's nasty. You know, Barrett? Nasty. The Perfect Package 2.0 also includes the Crop Preserver, an anti-chafing ball deodorant and moisturizer. You already put deodorant on your armpits. Why aren't you putting it on your balls? The smelliest part of your body. I'm just asking. I'm doing it. I smell great right now. You could be like me. The Perfect Package will also come with a pair of Manscaped boxer briefs that will keep your junk feeling fresh all day. It's time to upgrade over those used up pair of boxers and to get this high-performance anti-chafing boxer briefs. 'Tis the season to Manscaped. To get yourself, your dad, your brother, and everybody else the best gift of all, the Manscaped Perfect Package 2.0. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code GAMES at manscaped.com. Your balls will thank you. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code GAMES at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code GAMES. Clean up your nuts and make Santa proud this year. And finally, it's Escape the Invasion. You've got to check out this game called Escape the Invasion. It's all about immersive experiences, and they just announced the launch of their new post-apocalyptic themed subscription box. Picture this scenario. You're in the middle of a post-apocalyptic world that has been ravaged by a deadly virus inflicted by aliens. Would you survive? With Escape the Invasion, you can find out. Each month, you'll receive a box of clues, physical items, and evidence that will get you closer to survival. It's up to you to piece it all together, solve the mystery, and save humanity. It's been called an escape room delivered to your door where Fallout meets Alien. It's a great way to get off your phones and start connecting with friends, or if you prefer to play solo, you can interact with their online community, swapping theories and helping each other out. Right now, just for our listeners, you can go to escapetheinvasion.com/KFGames for 20% off your first box. That's escapetheinvasion.com/KFGames for 20% off your first box. Escapetheinvasion.com/KFGames. See if you can survive the alien apocalypse. All right, Ash, Paulsen. We're going to start with Reclusive Dragon, who writes in to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. I just saw on IGN the review embargo for Fallen Order is set at 9 p.m. Pacific on Thursday today, and the game launches Friday, tomorrow. For anyone in America, that's cutting it kind of close, and it starts to raise some concerns. But I live in Australia, and that's 4 p.m. Friday. I can wait till the store opens at 9 a.m., buy the game, go home, and play for 7 hours before the reviews go live. Or, assuming it goes live at midnight here, I can jump on the digital store of my preference, buy it at midnight, and get 16 hours before ever seeing a review. What is EA doing? Is this just some bullshit trying to cover up a bad game, or are they just idiots? P.S. Obviously, you can't say if you think it's a bad game till later today, and regardless of the game's quality, this seems like a dumb move. Keep being awesome. I love this show. You're right. We can't say anything about Jedi Fallen Order. Gamescast this time. You don't have to worry about IGN. I've told you before. Stop going there. delete them from your Twitter. I'll tweet I'll tweet you when the embargoes are. I did it. I'll say it on these shows. You don't need to go to IGN anymore. All right, they're done. It's over.
Brutal.
They had their time. You know what I mean?
Anyways, brutal. I like it.
You gotta
no holds barred, man.
Legs,
Kind of funny. He doesn't screw around. I like it.
You know that very much. This is nothing new, and it's also the day and age of the struggle between publishers and outlets of what are reviews? How much do reviews matter? You know, Bethesda, we saw infamously go recently to the whole, we're not going to give it to you ahead of time. You're going to get it the day of, reviewers.
Yeah.
Because for the games they're talking about, Wolfenstein or Fallout, and that went its own way.
Yeah.
And especially for Star Wars, do you need to worry about reviews for that? Star Wars is a mass populous game.
Right.
That's going to sell. It doesn't matter if there's not a review on IGN yesterday.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen this happen more and more often than it used to with, embargoes lifting right before a game comes out. And I think that can be problematic when it's a lesser known IP or something that doesn't maybe have the name like Star Wars.
Yeah.
Because, that's indicative of, oh man, why doesn't the publisher want you to know, how people feel about it until right when it comes out?
Yeah.
And it used to be like that a lot more years ago. But as I said, these days it's more, everyone does that. Really.
The industry's changed so drastically.
Yeah, and I mean, another example again, Pokemon. No matter what, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
People are going to buy it no matter what. So, I do think it depends on the game for sure. But generally, with a game like Star Wars, I mean, the Star Wars fans, whether it's good or bad, they're going to eat it up.
You have to imagine, too, if you're EA and you're looking at this, you have to say to yourself, in reality, the reviews can only impact us negatively.
Yeah.
Because if we did put out an embargo of Tuesday and the game comes out Friday, number one, you have to worry more and more about spoilers. Number two, if people don't like the game, then they're going to cancel their pre-order. If the reviewers doesn't like it, there's a chance people cancel their pre-orders. This doesn't fall into the twirling your mustache as much. In the old days, remember when I was working at IGN, I do remember of if the review embargo was the day of, everybody's like, okay, we can't. The embargo's coming. No,
the big one I remember is Assassin's Creed Unity, right?
Yeah.
Like that, embargo was right when the game came out. And it was like, oh,
right.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing of those days are kind of gone. Now it is a marketing thing, and especially because buying games has changed. Because in the old days, it was get a preview out or a review out so people can go pre-order it, so they actually get the copy, so that your GameStop or EB or whoever gets enough physical copies of it. Now it is, even if you're one of the people dude, EA's fucked up Star Wars a bunch.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait and look. If you can't get it at the store, you can buy it digitally. You can have that game instantaneously. You can purchase whenever you need to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it really isn't the same context as it used to be.
Yeah.
I mean, we just saw it happen with Death Stranding too. This is just a normal thing now. And
well, Death Stranding went the opposite way of where they gave us a week of it, where it was the reviews popped and a week later it came out.
Oh, I thought it was it took a couple days. Okay, my bad. I was thinking of a different game.
And that one, that was the ball of wax, because I do think for that one it was. All right, cool. This is a game you don't know about. Nobody knows what this is. So, and that's why their embargo was so. Here's what you can talk about. Here's what you can't talk about. Here's where we're going. Here's what we're not going to say. I think with Star Wars, especially this being so narrative focused of a game, you worry about spoilers. You worry about burning people out. Starting, I mean, it's already started, but tonight at 12 o'clock or 9 p.m. right, YouTube.com/kindoffunnygames, it is this shot in the air of it's now Star Wars Day.
Right.
They're gonna own one day, which I think goes far.
Yeah.
Especially in how crowded our world is of games right now.
I don't think there's anything sinister about this. No. It's all part of a massive marketing plan that people like us we're not privy to. So it's easy for us to be oh, they should have done this. But we're not in the internal workings of EA. They have all these metrics. So, yeah.
BJ Bernardo writes in, patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, and says, is it harder to keep quiet about an embargoed game you love that you can't wait to tell the world about? Or is it harder for a game you don't love or like?
Definitely. I mean, it's not hard anyway, in my opinion, because I will never, ever sacrifice someone's job just to have my 15 minutes of fame, period. But it's definitely hard to keep quiet about a game I love.
Yeah.
Especially if it's one I just, a lot of people are excited about. I found out about Mega Man 9 way back in the day. I found out about that 2 years before it was actually released. I was one of the few people, but I couldn't say anything.
Of course.
But of course, I'm a huge Mega Man fan.
Yeah.
I wanted to tell the world, but you just, when you're in this business, you don't. And you just have to be okay keeping things to yourself. That's just part of it.
Yeah.
And so personally, I don't find it hard in general.
Yeah, I think in general, embargo is the embargo, and that's how it is.
Yeah.
I think a game you love, you want to talk about.
Sure.
When I don't like a game, right? It's always that thing of fuck.
Yeah.
And it's not that oh fuck, I didn't like it. It's like I just don't like this game, which sucks. Like
Yeah.
I any game I sit down to play, I want to be awesome. I want to the years of work that person developers put into it. I want it to pay off. So it's more of like I'll move on to it. But if it's something I can't stop playing, if it's something that I'm like obsessed with, I'm trying to platinum or whatever, then that's a different thing. Of I want to talk about that. I want to, especially for what we do of coming in and talking about our lives every day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and also, when you're in the business, in the industry, you are very quickly exposed to the human side of gaming, the people behind the games who make them and who work so hard, so tirelessly. Game dev is hard.
Oh, yeah.
It's such a hard job, and a lot of people don't realize that. And when you get into this business, you see it firsthand. So it just makes it easy. As much as we want to talk about it, we're not going to do that to people.
Yeah.
Never. We're not gonna take away their big day. And plus, like I said, I'm never gonna sacrifice someone's job or my own job to get my 15 minutes of internet fame.
Right.
It's just never worth it.
100%. And then final question comes from Son of Thompson, who writes in and says, my question is for Ash specifically. Today is currently my last day working for NRM Screencast in Michigan. While I only managed to talk to you briefly at Motor City Comic Con earlier this year, I've never been able to ask this. How did you find out about NRM Screencast all the way from California, and how did you end up working for them? Did things kick off at Motor City Comic Con, or were things brewing in the background before then? Also, what do you do there that's gaming related? Thank you for humoring me, Hart. What is he talking about?
Wow. So this is small world. So the company I work for, I'd like GameXplain is like my side gig. It doesn't pay the bills. So, I'm a producer outside of that, content creator. And so NRM Streamcast is this Michigan-based production company that I joined before I met Son of Thompson at Motor City Comic Con. And I now work less for the NRM Streamcast name and more for the Geektainment brand, the arm of it. And that's kind of like, it's exactly what it sounds like, Geektainment. So it's source for movies, games, comics, anime, superheroes. And of course, it's a platform we're trying to get off the ground. And so they brought me on to produce create some gaming related content for them. And so the reason I found out about it really is because just know a lot of people. My dad hooked me up with one of the bosses of the company, and like a bunch of the high brass in the company. They all really wanted to have me along, and I work from home. I've been working from home for like a decade, so that for me this is just like sliding right into a new gig.
Yeah.
So I still can't believe that this is about NRM Streamcast because it's such a it's not. I mean, again, Geektainment's new. It's not like we've gotten the platform up and running, and it's not hugely known yet.
Yeah.
So. Thank you. Thank you for even caring about NRM Streamcast, and I'm glad I met you. Thank you for asking, and that's kind of how it all happened.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Small world. Look at that.
So small.
Ash, it's time to squad up. This is where one of you writes into patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. Give me your name, username, platform of choice, and why you need help in a video game. I read it here. The best friends come and find you, and everybody plays games together. Today, Frankfurter, a name you all know well, needs help on PC, but it's crossplay. On Activision, you can hit him up at Frankfurter, Frankfurtter. That's that Activision account thing. What's up, KFBFs? Looking for a few people to play some Modern Warfare with tonight and Friday. I've been playing on and off with a few other kind of funny best friends when I can. My girlfriend is out of town until Saturday afternoon, so now I can go home from work without needing to ask or feel guilty about playing games all night. If you'd like to play, I'll be on tonight around 6:30 Central Time until probably 11ish. Can't wait to see you there, Frankfurter. If you want to do it, hit up Frankfurter on Activision. Like I said, 2 T's buried in there. It's also in the YouTube description, as always. We ask people watching live on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames to go to kindoffunny.com/you're wrong and tell us what we screw up as we screw it up so we can set the record straight for everybody watching later on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, roosterteeth.com, and listening on podcast services around the globe. Nano Biologist chimes in and says Emily Mitchell is 19. She was 17 when she started game development.
Really
That's
quick.
insane.
Is this your wrong, Bear?
No, but I'm warning people. I'm protecting the people. People are streaming Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order early. Be wary. Just saying.
Yeah, you shouldn't watch that game. You should play that game.
Yeah.
Kebab says, missed date from yesterday. Shovel Knight, King of Cards, and the local Battle Showdown DLCs will come out December 10th. Thank you.
Yeah.
Nanobiologist says, Beast Simulator released on Tuesday for Switch, Xbox One, and PS4. And there's breaking news, but I'll probably put that in the story tomorrow. Ash,
Yes.
that's Kind of Funny Games Daily.
Thank you so much for having me again.
Thank you.
Happy to come back anytime. This is a blast. Love your show. Love all the content you guys do.
We love you, man.
Always a huge fan.
So you're sticking around. You're going to do Xbox stuff with us, some
Yeah.
live reactions there. You'll chime in, I think, on Gamescast a little bit.
Yeah.
Outside of that, where can people keep up with you?
So you can find me, of course, on GameXplain, which is youtube.com/GameXplain. And we are, as I said, the de facto source for Nintendo content on YouTube. You can also find me on Twitter at Paulsen, ASHPAULSEN. It's just my name, not creative in that sense.
Hey, man, that's great brand.
On Twitter, and as we said, you can also follow me on, check out Interim Screencast Geektainment. And if you're a fan of video game art books, you will find my name in various Udon published art books, Mega Man, Dark Souls.
I think that was
Persona.
the first time I ever met you. I think Megan Sullivan
Yeah.
was bringing you around the IGN office.
That
You
must
had the
be.
Mega- you had the Mega
and I
Man.
brought that to Colin. I
Yeah.
brought the giant
Yeah.
Mega Man book to Colin, and I don't work there anymore, but I got my name in so many other books. So if you pick one up, I think they're even re-releasing some of the Mega Man books right
That's
now.
awesome.
So you'll find me in there too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Kind of Funny Games Daily. Remember, like I said, still a big day of Kind of Funny content. You can check out the Screencast all about Disney+. You can check out us reacting to the Inside Xbox Watch Along. And then the big one tonight, 9 p.m. Pacific time, youtube.com/kindoffunnygames and the podcast services around the globe. You can get the Kind of Funny Games cast review of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Tomorrow, Tim and I will be here doing Games Daily, probably answering your Fallen Order questions if you want to write into them. But until then, it's been our pleasure to serve you.